My name is Dr. Semir Osmanagić. I am a professor of anthropology at the American University in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Also a member of the Russian Academy of Natural Sciences. I discovered the complex of Bosnian Pyramids. And for the last 7 years I've been running the Bosnian Pyramid Valley project, which has become the most active archaeological site in the world. My PhD is in Mayan civilization. I am Bosnian American, author and a researcher.
Let's talk a little bit about the discovery in the first place. How did you come upon the Bosnian Pyramid?
During the last 25 years I've been researching the ancient civilizations. Most of them, the central object was the pyramid, starting from Central America, South America, Asia, Africa, and now Southern Europe. In April of 2005, I first came to the central Bosnian town of Visoko, 25 kilometers northwest from the capital city of Sarajevo. And even though I came to check the local museum, what really caught my attention was regularly shaped hill. I could see triangular faces, obvious corners, and when I put the compass to it, it showed me the perfect orientation towards the cardinal points, east, west, north, south. In my mind, there was no doubt that these were artificial structures. I've seen hundreds of them from China to Peru, Bolivia to Mexico, Guatemala, Salvador. We had the same thing here. And that's how it all started. The first 2005, that first year it was a one-man show. I was doing my geological core drilling, some archaeological trenches, did some research and wrote my first book about the discovery of the Bosnian pyramids. But after that, thousands of people contacted me, giving me support and wanted to work with me. So I said, well, this is not a one-man show. This is the cultural heritage that belongs to the world. I established a non-profit foundation named Archaeological Park Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun Foundation, and during the last 6 years we have spent 340,000 hours on archaeological research, sample testing, radiocarbon dating, and we've been cooperating with tens of scientific and educational institutes all over the world, with hundreds of independent researchers, so both mainstream and alternative scientists. So we concluded that in the town of Visoko we have the largest pyramidal complex on the planet, with the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun as the central object and the biggest pyramid, with its height of 220 meters, much higher than the Great Pyramid of Egypt, and the most extensive underground tunnel network.
Now let's talk a little bit about the tunnels, because I assume what happened was in the course of ordinary archaeological excavation, this is how you discovered the tunnels. Would that be correct?
When I first came to Visoko and I saw the pyramids by my own eyes, I said we should have underground tunnel network. And I based that on my experience with the Saqqara pyramid, with the Giza pyramids, with the Shanxi pyramids in China, with the pyramids in Teotihuacan. They all have underground tunnels and chambers. I said we should find some here. And sure enough, we discovered the entrances to the underground tunnel complex. And in the last 6 years, we have cleaned and secured about 500 meters of existing prehistorical tunnels with the corridors, intersections, chambers, and underground water accumulation of the artificial origin. So obviously, so many elements for the rich activities underground were discovered.
That must have been an extremely exciting moment to start to see these tunnels spread out, because presumably there must have been a point up to which there was, shall we say, deniability from the Orthodox community, possibly even governments, where they say, no, 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 this is just a mound, no, no, it's just a pile of stones. But once you incorporate magnetic and polar alignments, proper architectural construction, and subterranean passageways, there's really little doubt left, is there not?
You're right. But since we deal with the huge discovery, which is history-changing, the obstacles are still out there. The cultural establishment does not accept something that's going to change their PhDs, professorships, and the way they teach students wrong for decades. So what we have in Bosnia are 7 elements that forever change our view of ancient history. Number 1, these are the first pyramids in Europe. Number 2, they are the biggest, the largest on the planet. Number 3, the orientation of the sides of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun is the best precision orientation ever. Number 4, under the layers of soil, we are discovering concrete blocks of exceptional quality, much better than our modern concretes. Number 5, the pyramids have been covered by soil and vegetation over 10,000 years, which make them the oldest pyramids on the planet. Number 6, we have the most extensive underground network. And number 7, in those underground tunnels, we are finding huge ceramic megalithic blocks, the biggest on the planet. Every one of element, and especially all of them together, change our understanding of a human history. And you did mention electromagnetic phenomenon. What we have detected and measured by the scientific instrument is extraordinary. Through the very top of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, we detected an energy beam, 4.5 meter radius, frequency 28 kilohertz, which is continuous, and the strength is getting higher as it moves away from the pyramid. So these things are telling us that the ancients knew how to build not the structures, but the energy machines. And they put them in place thousands of years back, and they've still been working as the first example of perpetual mobile. So we have a lot to learn from the ancients. And I would say, not only that the history has been changed, but we have all the elements to potentially change our future.
I think you're absolutely correct. Let me ask you, as a native of the former Yugoslavia, having arrived there in what was, of course, a war-torn country not that long ago, and to begin on something of such huge significance in human terms, I knew you talked a little bit about the resistance you got from certain quarters as the endeavour grew. What was the attitude of the locals? Did you encounter much help from the locals? Was there folklore to support what you were finding?
Well, when I started the project, the first year, 2006, I had almost 250,000 visitors and tourists, people who wanted to see the first European pyramids. And of course it did good for the tourism and economy of the town of Visoko, Sarajevo and Bosnia. A lot of good intentional people came and they wanted success of the project. The government institution in general, they were giving a lot of verbal support, and some levels like the town and regional government, they were giving us, and they still do, the financial support. But the cultural establishment of Bosnia and later on of the whole world reacted very negatively because the discovery is on such a large scale and it was not them, and plus they have not been controlling the whole process. So I told them in the beginning, hey, this is not a thing of the elite science. This project belongs to everyone. No secrets in our case, like in the case of Egyptian pyramids or Mexican or Chinese. So no selection of the information. They didn't like that. They still don't like that. So I expect to have those obstacles in the future, 10, 20, 50 years from now. They simply don't like that. But as far as the folklore, we didn't have any. The pyramids are so old, and obviously there is a discontinuation, between the information about the pyramids and memories and what we have today. The pyramids are so old, they've been covered by soil 10,000 plus years. So obviously, even though people were able to see the regularly shaped hill, they were thinking, oh, it's just a mountain. Instead, Mother Nature does not make such regular shapes with such a perfect orientation.